really need some light up here. We are going to go ahead and start. Can you hear me back there? We are live streaming this, so hopefully others can join in. Maybe if you want to test it, make sure somebody can hear us. Welcome to the New Day Academy informational session. New Day Academy is a K through 12 Christian school program. That's basically, we're going to partner with families who want to homeschool. Maybe they need some extra resources. Maybe they need some help. Can you turn the volume up? Push channel 14 up. Excuse me just a second. Is that any better? What if I do this? All right. So as I said, this is a K through 12 program, biblical worldview based homeschooling program partnership. It's not really that we're going to take over the responsibility of teaching your children. We want to help you. We want to partner with you. Help instructing with them in academic and vocational subjects. Students at New Day can attend either a half a day or a full day, Monday through Thursday, here at the Louisville First Church. This is a ministry to families who are willing to be the primary agent of your children's academics. That's okay. We'll just keep going. If it's on there, it's on there. We want to work with parents who want to delegate a little bit of that responsibility to us to help them out. Parents will register with their local superintendents as homeschoolers, but you guys will be responsible for their attendance, their progress records. That's based on the Kentucky law. New Day Academy will issue a progress report for you guys as you go along throughout the course of the season of the year. But you guys have the authority as parents to and responsibility to keep those records and may record the children's progress according to your own discretion. Maybe you, instead of doing A, B, C, D, you want to do pass or fail, that kind of system. Our goals as New Day Academy are to partner with the Christian families to educate students from a biblical worldview according to Deuteronomy 6, 1 through 9, Matthew 28, 18 and 20, Mark 12, 30 through 31, which to love and to obey God, to love and serve our fellow man, and spread the gospel and grow in discipleship. Another goal is to provide an academic education that enables students to honor God with their talents and skills. And we believe that as we focus on building that lifelong biblical framework, students will receive that academic excellent education that they need. We want to equip students to communicate and problem solve as needed in whatever vocation they ultimately pursue. Not every student's going to go to college. Some students want to just do something manually, labor type situation. They want to just work with their hands. Maybe they don't need that high school or that college degree. We want to disciple students to live according to their God-given gender roles. No, it's a tough one, but we want to stick with that. That's the biblical model that God gave us. We want to enable students as God's image bearers to fulfill the creation mandate found in Genesis 1:16 through 28. And in doing that with our goals, what we're going to ask is the families, the parents, to sit down with the students and as a family sign a statement of faith. We want the parents to sign it as well, and we'll also do a family code of conduct. Our curriculum, the core academics, will be a mixture of whole group and individualized instruction. There will be daily Bible study, devotion time, read alouds, discussions from a variety of disciplines. The majority of individualized instruction will come from the ACE curriculum, found in the academic or aceministries.com/curriculum. We can put that's in the packet. Students take placement tests and are placed according to their abilities, how they do on that test. The curriculum then addresses the students with the need for a superior to check in with or supervisor rather. We want to have supervisors come along with us and work with students, check in with them, make sure that everything's going okay. And working with the ACE curriculum, it enables a variety of levels, ages, and abilities to be educated together. We could put different age groups together, make it more like a family setting, and they can work at their own pace. And you can go with the ACE curriculum, you can go as slow as you need to or as fast as you can. We would suggest somewhere in the middle. That way you can as long as you can work as fast as you can, but not faster than you need to. And we'll make adjustments as we need to, as we go along into the program as it grows. There will be supplemental afternoon electives available. Think about things such as woodworking or maybe auto mechanics or something like that, cooking or sewing, things like that, stuff that you could use on a regular daily basis. So students could attend a morning only. That would be the half day. Or they could stay in the afternoon to attend in these specialty classes, which will be taught by a mixture of paid instructors or volunteers. Or they just want to stick around and do a study hall in which they can continue that curriculum that they're working on, the individualized curriculum. Again, ideally, we'd offer a mixture of afternoon specialized classes such as, again, computer, arts, music, the home ec I mentioned, gardening, cognitive skills, and even phys ed. I was speaking with the ACE Ministries rep this past week. They even have sporting programs through ACE curriculum that allows students to participate in that. If there is an afternoon program that is by a paid instructor, that will go to the instructor, not to the New Day Academy. So they will set that fee. We'll ask them also to give a portion of that back to the church as a tithe. See, others who are not enrolled in New Day, say if you have some friends who are homeschooling but they're not part of New Day and they want to participate in these afternoon programs, they are more than welcome to do so. All right, so we've already talked about the daily Bible study and devotion time. That will be done by myself and sometimes maybe or in partnership with our pastor, Tony Wilson. He may be doing some of that and I'll be doing some of that. Let's see. All right. As far as, I know some people like to know, well, what does this cost? The tuition is calculated annually. But since we're going to be starting in January, we'll cut that in half because it's basically a 16-week after the first of the year, so it's a 32-week course, and we'll be doing half of it starting January. So we're going to do that in half. We're going to cut the tuition in half. Now, curriculum is paid for separately. Now, what we did talk about with ACE on Tuesday this past week is that we can bundle those packages. The families could pay for it through New Day, and we'll just kind of get it all through them, and they have a special pricing for that. So the average actually a little higher, but about $250, $260 per course. I think I believe if I'm not correct, it was like 12 session course? Yeah. So as far as tuition, for the morning classes and supervision, that will be $4,000 annually. You pay that by the month. So that will be, if you start in January, that will be $2,000. If you want to do the full day classes and supervision, be $5,500 annually, paid monthly. So split that in half since start in January. We'll have the fee-based electives. Again, those are set by the instructor. Let's see. Looking at our sign up here. All right, one thing that we do ask as families of New Day is to kind of, more than just a financial buy-in, is be part of the family of the New Day, is we ask that each family will volunteer for 10 hours per school year. So if you think about a 10-month school year, that's 1 hour a month to donate the time here to New Day or something that we have going on. And some of those opportunities, they're here at school. You could even do stuff at home or elsewhere, something going on. Or you can pay $25 for each hour that you're not able to do or want to do. Say if you just don't have the time, you can pay $25 per hour towards that to New Day, and that will go towards our supplies and expenses. And you can even get your extended family to jump in on this stuff too. Grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles, they can help out, and they will count towards those hours. Let's see. Any volunteering? I know this is a touchy subject these days. Anyone who is volunteering or working with the students will have a background check done. And so that will have to be done prior to them volunteering. All right, so here's some examples of how you can volunteer. You can help oversee students in their schoolwork, checking for correct answers or kind of assisting them as they needed. You could be part of the read-alouds. You can organize or oversee parties or special events. You can monitor the students on break. You could be making copies in the office or giving students a special presentation. You can even organize or chaperone a special event or field trip, an open house, informational meetings like this, hosting a get-together for the families. Or you can, if you like to clean, each day after class we'll have to clean if you want to be part of that. All right, let's see. Do we want to go over the discounts? You want to come up for a second? You want to switch spots? All right. As far as discounts, I know people ask that. We're going to try to avoid as much as possible, but we still do want to help out people as much as possible. We're going to be asking a couple of different organizations to help out and make donations. But for First Church of God and for our Hispanic group, Iglesia de Dios, those members, church members will get a 15% discount. Volunteers, if you volunteer on top of that 10-hour volunteer time, So if you're here every day and helping out with students, we'll work with you on reducing that fee as well. All right. So if you're a part-time staff, we'll discount that based on the hours that you work. All right. You want to come up and share a little bit? I will introduce my wife and the mastermind of our education background. We both have basically educational backgrounds, but hers is far superior to mine. Miss Heather Walton.
All right, so our church is very serious about helping out with educational things, and so we're going to do some additional homeschool sports, and we are already doing some of those things. We have our Solid Rock Co-op, which is part of Home for His Glory, that meets on Fridays, and I'm in leadership on that, so I can also tell you about that if you want. But we have our new day is going to be Monday through Thursday. So if you wanted to be involved with something on Friday, you could also join our co-op, is provided that you have somebody in the family who's willing to come and volunteer at the co-op, because it's not a drop-off thing, whereas New Day Academy is something where you could drop off your kids. So that meets on Fridays we get here about 8:45. It actually starts at 9, ends at 12:30, and then people stay after and have lunch here in the fellowship hall if they like. And then some people socialize and take their kids out to the playground out back as well for a while afterwards. So you can make a whole day of it if you wanted to, but that does require parental involvement. We have 3 classes in the mornings, and we serve all ages. And then we have, we also, I guess I should clarify, we have 2 10-week sessions for that. So we have, we're meeting right now where I think we're in week 4, and then around February, we'll start up again after the Christmas break. So that's not all year. That's 20 weeks out of the year. And then we do have we're planning to have monthly parent support meetings that we will want our parents to attend, and that other people from the community could as well. That is because we are trying to partner with you to help our next generation to develop a biblical worldview and to understand the scriptures, and we kind of want to help each other to flesh out what that looks like in the everyday. So we want to have those parent support meetings. We may have some special speakers. Sometimes it may just be parents meeting and just talking about what's going on, but we want to be able to just partner with people in trying to raise godly children. We are having an annual Homeschool Opportunity showcase in January, and that will be where people who have different homeschool support ministries or different resources to offer homeschoolers can come and set up a booth and tell people what they do. And so there'll be more information coming out about that. That is also affiliated with Home for His Glory. And then we have, we're hoping to have a homeschool resource library where people can come and check out things that they can use maybe for the school year and then bring back for a small deposit. So those are some things that we have that can work with or in addition to the New Day Academy. But I guess I would like to maybe highlight a few things as well to help it be, I don't know how many questions are being. I'll definitely take questions from the live audience if there are any. But people say, how can you do this with a whole, different ages in the same room? But you got to think back to the whole one-room schoolhouse concept in a sense. But also this curriculum will help us to do that, because basically you have someone overseeing students working at their own pace. And so, we make sure that the students are getting the math and English that they need on the level they need it, and the other subjects at an appropriate age level or reading level. And it's challenging, and comes from a really solid biblical worldview. So they could be on different levels in different classes as well. So that it also offers us some flexibility. I guess that's I think we've covered everything, but we can take some questions. Oh, I know a couple big questions people have is, are there uniforms? No. We'll just have a dress code, modest and sensible. And students will bring their lunches. Occasionally we may have opportunities to order something or make something here, but for the most part they'll be bringing their own lunches. And everybody will have supplies that they'll need to bring. There'll be a supply list that will just help to cover what we need to have to make the place run, as well as their own individual things. Can we take students with special needs will probably be a question that would be out there. Yes, as long as it's not something severe or that we don't feel like we can handle. So that would just be a case-by-case basis. And because our curriculum will allow us to teach to them at their level instead of their age, we can definitely accommodate a wide variety of learners. Could we take gifted learners? Yes, for the same reasons. They could be advanced, or they could be remediating things in various parts of the curriculum. But we also want to make sure that we give all students some kind of area where they thrive. So that's one reason why the afternoon classes will come in, because not every student likes academics. I know that's a shock. And also not every student is good at academics in a sense of academic learning, but there are also so many other ways of learning and so many other intelligences out there that we want to make sure that we're equipping them for their real life and the path that God's called them on. The Bible tells us to train up a child in the way he should go, and in the end he won't depart from it. And he also tells us that children are like arrows in the hands of a mighty warrior. And so what do you have to do with an arrow? You have to aim it. And so we got to think, okay, what is the way this child should go, and aim them in that direction. And so we legally have to give an academic education, and morally we need to give an academic education, but that may just be a foundation for character and knowledge for a student, but they may actually be working in a field that is more hands-on, and we need a lot of that. So, that's kind of, we want to be holistic in that. And so those afternoon classes, hopefully we will have people from the community who can come in and teach of a wide variety of things that will appeal to a wide variety of students. Oh, yes, and also my background is in both special and regular education, and I am able to do testing for students to determine disabilities and just to determine aptitude, and I can diagnose learning disabilities. I can diagnose ADHD, autism, or variety of learning disabilities. So if you have a student that you feel is struggling and you don't know what's going on, you want to have them come, we can do some exploration there to see what's going on, and then we can work with you to figure out if that will be a good fit. All right. Do we have any questions from our live audience? Yes. Yes. Okay, core classes, what will you be covering? We will be covering Bible, of course. We have the devotional and Bible study that'll start off every day. We will also cover math, English. I like to call it heritage studies or history, but what you would traditionally consider social studies, and science. We will be doing some read-alouds from a variety of genres as well, and so that will be the basics. Now, if you have students only coming in the mornings, they may or may not get everything done that they need to get done in the morning. So the nice thing about having them come here to do it is you've got somebody who will help oversee that and can be grading that, checking it, but they may have to take some work home. Hopefully, if they're here all day, they will not have to bring anything home. We can't guarantee that, but, my personal philosophy is if you're spending 6 hours here or whatever and you still got to go home and do homework, we don't really want to see that happening. Now, of course, sometimes students may dawdle, and we may need to send work home to encourage them not to dawdle, but that would not be what we'd want to be the norm. Also, if they're trying to get done with the entire 10 booklets in a year, then, we're not meeting on Fridays. So since they're working at their own pace, they may need to take some work on home to work on Friday, but they may not. Some students are just very motivated to get it all done, and other students would like a little more social time. So, it's really going to depend on the student and the parent, because we want to remind you that parents are the ones that are in charge of their children's education before God. And so if the parent is like, hey, I understand they may not get in with all of it, but we really want our Fridays to be a day for field trips or family or co-op or whatever, that's fine. In a regular school, people rarely finish the entire curriculum in a year. So we are not looking at making it a cookie cutter where everybody has to do a year, what this curriculum says is a year's worth of work in a year. We want them to actually fully learn the material. So if that means we have to, kind of park someplace for a little bit and let them do a little more work in that one subject or that one area, we can do that. Because, again, we're not just here to do a cookie cutter education. Do I have any other questions from the live audience? Or I guess if there's any questions from our online audience on YouTube, you could look and see if there's any coming in there. But do you all have any other questions? The pre-testing will need to happen prior to the start of class, because we want to make sure that we are ordering you the right curriculum to start class. So that would be sometime this year, that would be sometime in December. Yes. Yes, ACE has a website where you do the testing, and then so you would just go in. Well, actually, Terry probably knows more about than that because he's talked with the ACE representative, but for the pre-testing, do the parents just do that online, or do you know? I guess we'll have our own account for that they'll go into. Okay, yeah, so it'll be ahead of time, and yeah.
I was hoping that Dan would be here today, or one of his other workers, but there is an online placement test that the students can take. We can set up an account for a new day. Parents can go in and do that, and that will allow you to help you get the curriculum you need. And we're also we will definitely want to do an interview with the families before when they register, before they're into the New Day Academy, because we want to make sure that everybody is on the same page, everybody's bought into it. Working in JCPS for 20 years, and Heather being in public education as well, you can tell when a student doesn't want to be there. And when a student doesn't want to be there, they're going to make it difficult for themselves and for those around them. And we want to give the best ability to them to get their education, and we want to be able to do the best job as teachers, instructors, to help them out. So we do a sit down with the families after the registrations applications turned in, and then we will kind of go over some things and just make sure everybody's on the same page. And I think and I will get the information from ACE as far as where that placement test, the actual link, and then we'll get that out as soon as we can. Any other thoughts? Any questions from the back? All right. Well, that will conclude our session. And if you have any other questions that you think of, you can reach out to myself at tdwalton1968 at outlook.com. You can call the church 502-491-6876. Leave a message for me or Pastor Tony or Heather. Or you can send me a text, 502-500-0097. And we'll get back with you, and we'll talk to you, see what you need to do. And again, thank you. And we will let's close out in prayer. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we want to thank you that we have a new day. We have a new opportunity to educate biblically our students. We pray that you will bring in those students that need to be here, that you will bless our time and moving forward, that you will guide our steps. In Jesus' precious name, amen.